I'm not a happy person in Nigeria because we can't continue like this. We can't continue to breed poverty. That's not that's not leadership. Everybody before me spoiled everything. We didn't hire you to remind us of our past. No, it wasn't as if we appointed you. You said, I will do this. Borrowing money. Where did you every money you borrow? He's telling you story. He says he's going on holidays. We live largely in a very unproductive society. That's why the only thing that is attractive here is politics and church. You need to dismantle it. And we're going to turn night vigil into night shift so people can be productive. I go to church, I believe in God.
Yes.
But we cannot have people Monday to Friday be in church morning and night. No. If I go from here now to my house, the only signboard you see is signboard of churches. You go to the east, it's burials. That's not the country. If you go to any other country, you see products. Women are less corrupt. They are. I can tell you that. They are not as corrupt as men. And because they have families, they are more determined to see things work.
Whenever I see Mr. P2B on my screen talking about the problem in this country, talking about what he would have done if he was a president, talking about the solutions to the problems in this country, I am always sad because this man has been consistent with whatever he is saying. During the last election, he made everything bare to the people. But unfortunately, Mr. P2B is a wise person in the midst of people that are not too wise. Sorry to use that word, but I feel like the reason why we end up with bad leaders, people who do not care about us, people who do not even have the antecedent, the willpower to change the fortune of this country, is because Nigeria has the largest concentration of dumb people in this world. I'm sorry to use that word, but that is a fact. Of course, there are too many dumb people in this country. Because if we don't have large concentration of dumb and stupid people in Nigeria, there is no way anyone will pick Bola Ahmed Tinubu ahead of Mr. Peter Obi. I know so many of you will come with the words that he won the election and he was rigged out of the election. Please spare me that. We all know that millions of people voted for Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and those millions of people that voted for Bola Ahmed Tinubu, these are the dumb people I'm talking about, because you voted for someone that did not promise you anything. You voted for someone that did not even defend his manifesto. You voted for someone that did not tell you the problem and how he is going to fix the problem. You voted for someone who is reminding us of a problem he promised to fix. You voted for someone who has spent 1+ years of his time in office blaming the past administration. No wise person can make that kind of decision. It's only a ridiculous person with no functioning brain cells that can make the decision of selecting Bola Ahmed Tinubu ahead of Mr. Peter Obi. And there are millions of people in Nigeria that made that decision during the last election. Peter Obi, during the last election, promised to move Nigeria from consumption to production. He didn't just state it out. He said what and how he is going to do it. He went to the north and told them that the vast land in the north will be very instrumental in my administration. I am going to convert all this vast land into an agrarian economy. Peter Obi compares statistics of how other countries with smaller landmarks are doing well in agriculture, whereas the north that has very larger landmarks are not doing anything in terms of agriculture. The northern part of this country has the largest population when it comes to poverty, unemployment, out-of-school children, insecurity. I know there is insecurity in every part of the country, but in the north it is so indiscriminate because of the poverty rate in that region. And Peter Obi promised that he's going to utilize the idle mines in the north and use them productively. He said all these things, but go and compare the number of votes Mr. Peter Obi got in the northern part of the country to other regions. The North decided to give larger percentage of their votes to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Tell me one promise that Bola Ahmed Tinubu made to the northern region. Absolutely nothing. He went to Kano State and told them that I didn't come here to campaign. I just want to dance. And they play music for him. He danced. And of course, Tinubu is the president. And the North, I am sure they are suffering more because of their larger population. Look at what happened yesterday. The August 1st protest that took place in this country. Kids in the northern part of Nigeria took flag and they were parading it on the street. they were arrested and incarcerated by Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Imagine incarcerating minors that are not even aware of what is happening in the country. Simply because they saw others protesting, they took flag, Russian flag, and went on the street to protest. The president is saying that these kids want to overthrow his government and they were incarcerated. We are talking about the northern region that gave him more vote than Mr. Peter Obi. Just imagine a scenario where the northern region had given that vote they gave to Bola Ahmed Tinubu to Mr. Peter Obi. Imagine that scenario. Peter Obi would have become the president, and on no situation, on no account will Mr. Peter Obi incarcerate minors. There will not even be a protest in the first place, because Mr. Peter Obi would have gone in there without complaining and do the work and job he has been given to by the Nigerian people. He would have gone in there and fulfilled the promises he made to Nigerians. But no, they decided to follow tribalism and religion to vote, and they are suffering it now. It is the same religion we are talking about. If you listen to Mr. Peter Obi carefully, he said that we cannot have this large number of population, but what is more productive in our country is politics and religion, and that is true. Everybody wants to go into politics because that is the easiest way to make money. They are not going into politics to work. They are not going into politics to render selfless service. They are not going into politics to contribute their quota to develop and change the country for the better. They are going into politics to loot. This is the reason why whenever they want to support a candidate, they will support a candidate that will ensure that the criminality in government continues. They will not support a candidate that will change the criminality in government. And again, he talks about religion. First of all, there is nothing wrong in going for a night vigil. There is nothing wrong in attending religious activities. It only becomes wrong when productive hours are being used for these activities. Nigeria is a country of 218 million citizens. There is no justification to why we are the poverty capital in the world. There is no justification to why we cannot feed ourselves. There is no justification to why our GDP per capita is below $2,000. The reason why we are experiencing all of this, it is because we are a nation of unproductiveness. We don't even produce anything at all. We can't even produce the quantity of food to feed ourselves. We need to import food items to feed ourselves. That is a colossal failure. The reason why religious activities is so profitable in Nigeria is because of our unproductiveness. People now see religion as a succor. They now see religion as a refuge. Religion is now an opium because they cannot get the needed services from their government. They now turn to God, a higher authority, to give them what their government was meant to provide for them. Imagine people going to church for what they can go to hospital for. Imagine people going to church to pray for a job. Imagine people going to church to ask God for money. Imagine people going to God to ask God for school fees. If we have a functional government, all these things will be provided, and you don't need to go to church for all of this. You will just go to church to serve God for who He is, to praise Him for who He is, to adore the holy name of the Lord. But no, religious center has taken the place of government today because government has failed to provide the needed things for the people. This is what Peter Obi said that he wants to change. He wants to replace those hours people spend in religious center to a productive hour. If you have something meaningful to do with your time, you will limit the time you spend in a religious center. Imagine a scenario where 50% of the northern population are engaged in agriculture. I mean, they have the vast land. Imagine a scenario where at least 50% of Nigerian population are engaged in productive venture. Imagine what that will do to the economy. But as it stands now, we have 135 million persons in poverty. 135 million persons living in poverty out of 218 million population in this country. That is 61.9% people in poverty in this country. This is outrageous. I mean, we cannot live with this number because this is a recipe for disaster. Imagine having 61% of your population living in poverty. That is outrageous. That is a disaster. I am not talking of those that are active, that are working, but they cannot even afford to eat 1 square meal a day. And yet, we have someone like Mr. Peter Obi who have offered himself to Nigerians, who has laid bare the problem that is beseeching this country and has equally offered us the solution to this problem. Mr. Peter Obi is not just talking problem. Mr. Peter Obi is talking solution. But we choose to go with tribalism and religion. We choose to go with someone that do not even understand the problem in this country. It is such a shame. Whatever problem that Nigerians are going through today, They brought it upon themselves. And it is obvious that they are very comfortable with their problem, because I don't understand why they will go out on the street on 1st of August to protest against fuel subsidy, against the price of fuel. At that period, fuel was being sold for 700 to 800 naira, but currently fuel is being sold for 1,002, and people are comfortable with it. There is no outrage. Minimum wage that was even signed into law is yet to be effected, and yet the president has gone ahead to buy a private jet worth $150 million, and they are talking of buying a private jet for the vice president. What a country, what a citizen. I have never seen this level of docility among citizens before. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.